We all love a gorgeous garden. Most importantly, the part about it that we probably love the most is buying the plants. Oh yes, we go into the garden center, we grab all these plants, we get home, and then we plant them. Now, this is where things can go wrong. Remember, we've got one chance to get this planting right. It's so important for us to put the right things into the planting hole to make sure that we give that plant the best possible start in life. So we dig the right hole, the right depth, the right width, which is, by the way, whatever your plant is, double the width of the pot and double the depth of the pot. In that, of course, we're going to want to condition our soil properly, which means you're going to add loads of compost, preferably your own homemade compost. But what else are we going to put in? And this is the game changer. Guys, you are going to add in fairy dust. Known to me as fairy dust, known to you as bone meal, it's a sterilized, powdered, organic plant food that's ideally also suited as a fertilizer. What does it do when we add it into the soil? Well, number one for me, which is so important, is that it increases soil microbial activity. Big words, but what does that mean? So that means the good hohos, the good nunus that live in our soil, this stuff actually feeds it. In turn, the next thing that happens when you've got good microbial activity is that you are then benefiting the soil structure. So it improves the soil structure. So if you've got a heavy clay soil, by adding in the bone meal, it improves the structure, makes it a better soil. If you've got a very sandy soil, likewise the same, which all in turn, the end result is helps the root system enormously. Bone meal also provides an essential source of calcium, and calcium provides the essential ingredients for strong roots, which also helps to stop blossom end rot, which is a common problem in fruit trees. When bone meal is used regularly, in other words, when you've used it in planting or when you use it as a feed around your plants, it helps to stimulate and promote healthy root and foliage development on roses, shrubs, and even trees. Because this is an organic product, it is slow acting, which means that it's providing the plant with a steady supply of a balanced essential nutrients, especially during the active growing season. So let's take a closer look at what exactly is bone meal made up of. Well, it's got 4.5% nitrogen. We know that nitrogen is important for leaves. Yep, the green part. Phosphorus, 9.5%. What is phosphorus? Also known as phosphates. Well, that is important for root development. And the last one is potassium, a huge 21.6%. Potassium encourages flowering, which in turn produces fruit. As the name suggests, bone meal. It's made up of crushed bones, so you can imagine all the nutrition in there. But this bone meal has been sterilized, which means it's free of any harmful pathogens, so you don't need to stress out about it. Okay, so let's look at the two ways that you can apply bone meal to roses and shrubs or anything that you are planting. You dig your plant hole as we've described. You then mix 600 grams of bone meal, which is 3 large handfuls, with half of the soil that you removed. Now, hold tight here. If the soil that you removed is really poor, in other words, it's heavy clay or very sandy, then you're going to rather add that to the compost. So you're going to remove that part of the soil and rather replace that with good compost. You then mix that in, replace that into the hole, and then you go ahead with planting. And then, of course, it stands to reason. Once the plant is in, you give it a good water. To establish plants, folks, apply 100 grams, which is about 1.5 handfuls, evenly around each plant. You can rake it into the soil lightly, or get a little garden fork and just tease it around. This is especially good for roses once you have just done your winter pruning. And then of course, give a good watering, and you can repeat this every 6 months. As much as plants are needed to create a garden, and a beautiful garden as such, the other item that you will always need is bone meal and compost. So add this to your planting recipe to make sure that you are going to be providing your plants with that essential get up and go, ready to grow plant recipe.